Okay, right. I'll give you a setup here. I've got it's a hand that I played that was on the final table of the 7k guaranteed on black belt the other night, and what I've done is I've covered up with post-it notes so you can't see my whole cards. So you're going to pretend that you are the villain in this hand. So as you can see, said villain has pocket sevens. Despite the fact that people watching will be able to see what my whole cards are, no peeking.
Yeah.
Right.
I just trying to look at your chip stack.
93,081.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Villains on 51k.
Yeah. So it folds around to you with pocket sevens.
Right. So I'll bet 3 times the big blind here.
4,000's the big blind, so he gets for 9,000, which is pretty
2.5 times pretty standard.
Standard at this point. Now it comes around to me, and I make it 19,000.
Okay.
So, as your villain now, with pocket sevens, what are you?
Right.
Doing?
What are you? You're the button here.
I'm on the button. Yes.
Okay. I've either really got a flat call or fold, I reckon. Re-raising you, I don't think I'm ahead necessarily. You've got position. I can call and see if I hit 7 or just, probably, or maybe shove all in over the top. That's another option here.
Okay, so
depends on what he thinks. What I think of what you're doing.
Which one do you think is preferable then?
Preferable, 42k. This is the final table.
Or maybe one table before the final.
Right. I think it's shove all in over the top or fold here. Or, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. Everything's got its merits here. Maybe a flat call, but I'm sure that's not the right move. That'll cost me another 10k chips.
Your 15-second time bank is diminishing rapidly.
I think we shove or fold. Shove or fold.
So, do you think that sevens is a reasonably strong hand in this situation?
If I'm putting you on a bluff re-raise, possibly, yes. You think I'm pot stealing, you'd shove in a cheeky raise, I could well be ahead. Otherwise, depends on how you've been playing. If you've been playing tight, I could give you respect for the hand you might have here.
Well, you see, voluntary put in pot, pre-flop raise and things are basically sort of standard tightish, aggressive statistics. So I have been playing in a fairly aggressive manner, which means likely my overall late position play is likely to have been on the more aggressive side.
Yeah. What's the other stacks around the table?
Well, they've all folded out of that.
Yeah, no, but I'm mid-stack compared to everyone else. I think it could be a good fold, or but if you're going, then you reckon you're ahead and you've got to shove all in here.
Right, okay.
I don't think you've got enough chips to start seeing too many flops.
Cool, okay. Sensible logic. However, as played in this situation, you decided to flat call.
Right, okay. So I really am quite pot committed. It's going to be quite hard to get away from this. I think I'm ahead. I'm trying to trap you with a flat call here.
Right, okay. Let's see how the flop comes down.
Okay, right. That's why I should have folded.
You check.
Yeah.
And then
you're gonna bet here, and I'm gonna have a difficult decision to make.
But I check behind.
Okay.
So what are you thinking about your sevens now?
I'm thinking I'm getting a free card. They could be good. A blank, right. Well, I don't know, check again. If I'm weak enough to check that flop, then I'm weak enough to check the turn.
Right, okay.
What have you got if you start betting now as well?
So, what do you think about the relative merits of your sevens now? Do you think you're ahead? Do you...
I could be ahead here. I could be ahead or crushed.
So, what type of hand do you think I've raised the button with?
Maybe a jack ace, a pocket tens, or any old crap like 7-8 suited.
You're mentioning a lot of hands there that have connected with this board in some way.
Yeah.
Jack 10, ace jack, 7-8 or things. Do you think those would bet the flop?
Possibly. Yes, you may have nothing. You could have air. I don't know.
If
go on. What happens next?
So, well, what do you think your
probably?
best
I think
is?
this villain's going to check.
Are you going to give me more free cards to try and hit my ace or my jack, my 10, or anything else that completes a straight or a flush or anything? Or
yes, well, I would have bet the flop anyway, which I think possibly should have done.
What, with your sevens?
Yeah.
You would have led out with your sevens.
Yeah.
Okay.
To see, if it get coming back at me, you've probably hit something. If I don't.
But overall, when I check back the flop in position, do you think that's a sign of strength or weakness in regards to my relative hand holdings?
Well, you might be trying to draw a bet out of me that you can raise, but no, not a sign of strength necessarily. No, you seeing an aggressive player, you probably could be a sign of extreme strength.
Okay, and what did you initially say about what you thought about when I'd re-raised you pre-flop?
Well, if I shove all in over the top pre-flop, then that takes me out of these kind of decision-making situations. Also, I don't think should have really been flat calling because I don't have enough chips to kind of bet in such a way here that you'll fold, a hand that I don't beat.
Right, but to say your sevens, you thought they might be ahead because you thought I might just be trying to steal the pot and things.
So here you're getting free cards.
So,
but I should have really re-raised you pre-flop,
as opposed to calling.
Yeah.
So having thought, I assume the villain in this situation has elected to just call pre-flop because he thinks I might just very well be trying to steal from him.
Yeah.
So once I've shown weakness on the flop, does that mean then that I was just stealing and given up?
Well, I think you want to put a bet in at some point, but I don't know whether 4's going to... What will happen if you bet this 4 here?
So, the decision is on you. What are you doing with your sevens now?
I think you check again, because I don't think a bet when the 4 comes out makes much sense.
Right.
If I'm not confident to bet the flop, then my hand's pretty transparent here.
The villain in this situation decides to shove all in.
Right.
Do you think that's...
a good idea or a bad idea?
Yeah.
I don't think, no, not a good idea. It doesn't really make a lot of sense on the 4. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do here. Call, unless he's got some kind of...
Other than not give me a free card to hit any ace, whatever type of hands and things.
Yeah.
So,
but it's a bit of a random bluff, really. If you don't bet the flop, it just looks fishy and dodgy.
well, lots of.
If I was you, it wouldn't make any sense.
No, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. But you said lots of key things so far in this.
Yeah.
One, you don't have the stacks just to call pre-flop.
Yeah.
That's a good spot. The correct decision there is basically all in or fold, which we eventually got to. And you also said that whilst the check behind on the flop is quite likely an indicator of weakness, it can also be an indicator of great strength, which, as we see here, as I remove the post-it notes off the blocking screen, is exactly what I've done.
Yeah.
So with pocket queens, I've come to the conclusion that I don't care what card comes off on the turn. I'm never ever folding, regardless whether it's a spade, whether it's anything. I'm just never folding a hand this strong this late in the tournament. So by checking behind, I give the villain the opportunity to basically fire off his stack and basically hang himself, which obviously he gets it in absolutely drawing dead, and another one bites the dust.
Yeah.
So I think that was a little interesting exercise just to get some thought processes out and just give some kind of illustration as to how people think and approach about hands.
Yeah, having checked the flop, you know, you can't, it's difficult to bet when that 4 comes on the turn. If he'd have bet the flop, you might have flat called him or re-raised him, but he'd probably had more of a clue that he was behind at that stage and wouldn't have committed the rest of his chip stack. Yeah, obviously, at the re-raise, it's the pre-flop re-raise.
Yeah.
If he shoves, you're calling.
Is the key. If you look at the size of the pot there's 46,800. He's only got 32,000 chips behind.
Yeah.
So that's why partly that flat calling is not the greatest option to do pre-flop. So that should be where you're making your decision whether to bet or fold. That's what I would suggest, that in this pre-flop scenario here, that I don't have to have pocket queens in this spot. I can have a lot substantially worse hands.
Yeah.
But what I've done is you saw, should I call, should I raise, should I fold? Not really too sure what to do. It puts your decision making to the test, which is what we're looking to do. Apply pressure and test people's decision making. Do you have any comments or questions?
Well, I think the villain here's made a number of mistakes. If he'd have shoved pre-flop, that would have made the decision making a lot easier. Certainly, once he's made the decision to check the flop and the 4 comes on the turn, I think that was a bad place to bet, especially if you check behind, potentially looking to draw, a check raise situation. It'd have been safer. It indicates he wasn't that confident in his 7s. It looks like a bluff. You only really need 1 queen to call those.
Yep. Okay. Right, well, I'll wrap that up for now.